Welcome to Kung Fu Fabric number 2. I'm James Williams Jr. I want to make this martial art video about body mechanics. Alright, so as you guys know, if you're following me, you know I follow martial tribes. And body mechanics is like the cigarette lighter. Alright? So, the rolling thingy hits the flint, which ignites the fuel, which gives you the spark, which gives you the fire. Alright? You see the fire? There you go. Please don't try that at home. So, body mechanics works on that principle. For those who do martial arts, whether you do it in a professional setting, a controlled environment, or if you fight in the streets, you need to understand how fights actually work. Okay? Because when you're watching all these videos, and I'm going to tell you from experience, the videos only give you 45% of fact. Alright? I'm also going to be eating while I'm doing this, but because I like pork chops. Here's fact number 1. If you're still standing there when I throw a punch or a kick, you're going to get hit. How you receive the punch or the kick and how you recover will decide if the fight is going to continue. Why do they not tell you about this shit in videos? I have no fucking idea. But as a person who's been in a lot of street fights since I was 6 years old, I can tell you right now, getting hit sucks on every level. It doesn't matter how good you are going to get hit at least once in a fight. And if you don't get hit once in a fight, then you have been very blessed, or you fought somebody who just doesn't really know their way around a fight, or you're just that damn good. Now, I'm not going to say that none of those 3 options are a possibility, because they are. If you're fighting someone who knows their way around a fight, who's been in more fights than they can count on their hands and feet, then you have a problem. Because whether that person has won or lost, he knows his way or her way around a fight. And when I say you know your way around a fight, it literally does not mean that you have danced around somebody in a fight. It means you've been through the thick of it and you know what the fuck you're doing. Alright? Sorry for swearing. Now, here's the thing on body mechanics versus martial arts styles. Without the martial arts styles and not being able to recognize them, your body mechanics aren't going to work with the physiology or the physics of that martial art fighter that you are fighting. If you have never been in a fight a day in your life and you're going up against a guy who boxes, boom, 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 and he knows his way around a boxing ring, I do not suggest that you get into a boxing ring with a boxer. That is a fucking death sentence. Alright? If you are not a street fighter, but you are a boxer, I do not recommend that you try to get into a brawl in the street when you are a professionally trained boxer. Because how you are trained is how you are going to fight. It becomes second nature, and you will not be able to revert, convert, invert, etc., in time when a fist is flying at your face. And if you also know, I follow Ramsey Dewey and other people, and all of them are great guys, and they have their own thing, and I'm not going to cut in on them. I'm not going to delegitimize any of them or any of that shit. I'm just going to tell the truth as I see it, and that's it. When you're in a fight, the principle of a fight, works on the concept of you have 2 people, unless it's like a gang jumping somebody. You have 2 people. Someone's going to win, someone's going to lose, or it's going to come to a draw or a double knockout. So when you are in a fight, you do not know the outcome of the fight until the fight is done. It's just that simple. I can be the baddest man on the planet and still go slam to sleep. It's not going to say that my skill level wasn't great. It just might not have been that day for me to win that fight. It can happen to anyone. Don't think for New York minute that you're going to go in a fight and thinking that you're Chuck Norris, Bruce Lee, Van Damme, Seagal. You're not those guys. You're not. Here's how fights really work. And most fights, and all the guys I follow will probably tell you the same thing. Real fights don't last more than 3 to 5 minutes. They really don't. Unless you are in a controlled environment. If you are in a professional controlled environment, those fights last longer because there are rules that you must follow. No eye gouging, no hitting in the testicles, no nurples. No, you're not going to do something that is unorthodox in a controlled environment. You're in a boxing arena, you're going to go 15 rounds. And each round consists between being 3 or 5 minute rounds. If you are in a UFC fight, you're going to go 3 or 5 rounds, and each one of those rounds consisting of 3 or 5 minutes. I don't really know the whole regulations for that, but for UFC, MMA, stuff like that, 9 times out of 10, it's set for 5 rounds. And most of those rounds are 3 minutes long. Go back and watch them if you don't believe me. I can't make you believe me. I can only give you my opinion and the truth as I see fit. So when you're in a boxing situation and you're boxing in the ring, jab, jab, cross, jab, jab, uppercut, how you train in that gym, how you train in that ring is how you're going to fight in that ring. That does not always transfer from the ring to the streets. Now, a street fighter can get in a boxing ring and get lucky and win, or get unlucky and hit the mat. A boxer can get on the street and get lucky and win, or get unlucky and end on the concrete. Fights are very situational. Your skill level affects your fight. And if you don't have great skills, whether it be defensive or offensive, there's going to be a big disconnect somewhere. So I'm making this video about body mechanics because last week I showed a student that is a fellow student of mine with me in Saber Night Lights about Kempo. Because Kempo is like basically a dying art of pressure points and people consider it bullshit. Alright? So to show him certain shit that I learned in Kempo. But I also had to point out to him that everything that I have learned, I have adapted my skills for fighting everywhere. The thing is, you can't use Kempo in a boxing match because you're wearing gloves, so you can't use Kempo in praying mantis, which is a lot of grappling, locks, and pokes in certain spots. You can't use that, so you have to be able to just fight. Now you can use targeting, because I told him when I teach people certain things about martial arts, I only teach kill zones. I don't teach them hitting in the chest. I teach hit like in the lower extremities and in this area versus the throat, and then I would teach them to break elbows and shoulders and kneecaps versus breaking the wrist. Alright? And everybody's like, oh, well, why would you do that? Well, here's the thing. Fighting is situational. I'm 5'3.5". I have to use what works for me. So whatever I teach you, you're going to have to adapt it to use it how it will work for you. So I was showing him stuff because he was showing me stuff from the karate that he took, and then I showed him some shit from Kempo. Because sometimes wrist locks don't work, but sometimes poking and pressure points do work. Body mechanics are very important because you have to know what hurts you can hurt someone else. The trick is that you need to know how good their defenses is. If they have a poor ass offense, but they have a great defense, you got a problem. Because if you can't get through and you're throwing those jabs and just batting it away, batting it away, batting it away, this dance is going to last all day long. Now, if they have a piss poor defense and a great offense, and most people do, they will probably try to hit you with one-hitter quitters. Let me explain that for those who have no idea what the fuck that means. One-hitter quitter. Picture the cartoon character One Punch Man. Alright, since that's probably one of the most popular characters of y'all generation, where I'm all Dragon Ball Z and Kenshiro from Fist of the North Star, you guys are probably now just like One Punch all the way. Alright, so a one-hitter quitter is a person who has basically been known to knock people out with one solid hit. Now, for you to believe that it can't happen would make you a damn fool. Alright? But for you to like have your guard up, if you got a good defense, that one-hitter quitter is not really going to be able to break you unless he catches you sleeping. But, sometimes all it takes is one. And people have been known to get very lucky in fights. And I have talked to many people, and we all view fighting differently. Because a lot of people always say it's better to be lucky than skillful. And I always say it's better to be skillful than lucky. And if you're one of those really blessed people, then you have a little bit of both. However, I'm a strong believer in old school. I'm a strong believer in the simple fact that youth and ambition is great, but age and experience is better. Alright? Because you can teach an old dog a new trick. However, you can't always teach a whippersnapper something old that will work because they just don't want to hear that shit. So a lot of my videos, when I do certain training things, I did the pole technique. It was mostly made famous from Jim Kata, but it is an old Shaolin ghost man fighting technique. Do not ask me the name of it because I cannot remember it. But I have seen it done in more than just Jim Kata. A lot of other famous martial artists in the Chinese variety have used this technique in training as well, and they do it in certain movies. And if you ever can find those movies from the 70s and 80s, please go and enjoy them. But you know, for certain styles, when I was teaching my fellow student in Saber Nights last week, I was teaching him the difference with Kung Fu and Karate is that most Kung Fu styles teach you to quickly get to the outside of your opponent. So your opponent is always out here, and you are on his outside. So if he throws a punch and you're out here, versus Karate where you're blocking and countering, you still leave yourself subject to his counter, which is there, or with a knee. So, you know, you have to be very much aware of what can go wrong in a fight. Henceforth, body mechanics come in. The guy throws a punch with his left, you get to his far left. So when his punch slides through, you have this hand, which would be here, and this hand, which would be there. So it would be like this, or like this, because you're going to, he's throwing a jab, one hand's on the wrist, the other hand's on the elbow. You're pushing and pulling, you're breaking friction. His body arm is only made to do this and this. It is not made to go way under here from this angle. Henceforth, body mechanics are very important in a fight. Now, as I said, you know, in the movies, that shit's highly reasonable, highly fathomable, highly executed by professionals and props and stuff to make it look great. In real life, you have to get through your opponent's defenses to actually see a victory. Now, again, like I said, in most fights, as long as it's not in a controlled environment, they last 3 to 5 minutes because somebody's going to sleep. Or if you're fighting someone who's exceptionally brutal, it might not even last 2 minutes because they might catch you sleeping. They might catch you with a sucker punch, and sometimes a sucker punch is all you need to put somebody to sleep. So you might be running off at the mouth, and next thing you know, you're gone because you weren't paying attention to where that guy's hands were. And it's happened. I have been sucker punched twice. I have never been knocked out. Right? Now, how did I get sucker punched? Well, I told y'all this story. The long and short is that my cousin stole a van and I was driving it. The son of the owner of the van skipped up to me and stole me in the face twice, and I couldn't get out my seatbelt. Henceforth, I have been sucker punched twice in the same day by the same guy. Cut my fucking eye with my glasses, which cut me when he broke them. So it can happen. You know, I never in my life ever seen a grown man skip to a fight. I've seen this action before because, you know, the guy was black like me, so, you know, I've seen that. I've seen the Shane McMahon skip. I've never seen a grown man do the girly skip. And that threw me completely off guard, which he tagged me in the face. Well, boom. Now, also at the time, I didn't think I could still take a hit in the face because I hadn't been in a fight in over 10 years at the time. I haven't been in a fight in a while now. But the difference is most people know who I am and they really don't want to fuck with me. But your reputation can get you into trouble as well as get you out of trouble. What does that have to do with body mechanics? I will explain what that has to do with body mechanics after I take a bite of this pork chop. It's so delicious. So hungry. So, it will be if you don't see these damn lights. Anyway, your body mechanics work in the principle of your body works the way it's designed to work. We'll make a second part to this video.